Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's the autumn, and if you follow my channel for a while, you'll know that in the autumn I love to use this creative Pep Ventosa look to create some really nice artwork, I'd call it. And I've got the Z30 with me because I only need a small file size. I'm going to photograph some trees, choose my favourite, put them into Photoshop and combine the layers using different blend modes, and then I'm going to put the finished article back into something called Colour Efex, which is part of the Nik collection. So I'm going to add a bit of glamour glow, might put it to analog effects. I'm not going to inhibit myself with any rules. Once I've blended these, I'm going to go with what I think looks great, and this hopefully is going to end up with a lovely piece of art. Now I've come to my local park. You can probably hear lots of children playing behind the road there, sirens going off, all sorts, very, very busy. But what this park is really good at, and I was driving back from a shoot yesterday, there are a load of single trees with space around them that are all fairly straight, which is quite helpful because when we're going to rotate around the tree with taking pictures, it's nice to have a main trunk that you can put centrally. So they're fairly straight, they're a nice shape, and also there's a variety of different colours. So it might end up that I actually put these three as a triptych and do something like that. Don't know yet. I'm going to let my creative juices flow. So the first thing I need to do is photograph these trees going round in a semicircle, and then we'll go back to the office and we'll process them.
Easy come and easy go. You're an unfading star, a gentle love, the kind that lifts you up.
Right, good. 3 done. Just going to do a couple more just to make sure I've covered it. Some trees I think are going to work better than others. I've also photographed some leaves on the floor, just as I might use those as some kind of multiple exposure overlay, not sure yet. Feeling good. There's some parents with some kids on the play area here, so I will just make sure that I go and say to them, I'm just photographing trees, not your children. Always feel a bit wary of that, especially as an ex-teacher. So, right, let's do that, and then we'll go back to the office. So here we are in Lightroom, and these are the images that I shot. You can see there's various trees, those leaves that I was going to use as a multiple exposure, but I'm not so sure I will. So this one here I think is my favourite. I love the light on this. It's very light and dreamy, and actually that looks good because the clouds look great as well. So what we're going to do is you're going to select the first one, hold shift and select the last one, and this will select them all, and any adjustments that I make will adjust all of those. These are all JPEGs, by the way, so there's no raw files involved in this. So a little bit more vibrance, a little bit more clarity. And now what we need to do is we need to edit in, and the trick with this is to open in Photoshop as layers. So that will now open Photoshop, and you'll see in a second the layers coming in. So while they're loading, this was, if you haven't seen the photography, you literally just need to go around in a semicircle, but you'll notice that I went a different direction. So what I'm going to do when all of these are loaded is I'm going to reverse the order, just so I can start from the beginning as far as I was concerned. Right, there they are, all loaded. You need about 12, I would say, minimum for this. So select them all. We go up to layers, so arrange and reverse. There we go. And I'm not actually going to use that one. So if I hold down the option key on a Mac and click on the eye, that will just select the layer I'm aiming at. So I want that one, the bottom one. So we'll turn that one off. I'm not going to probably include that one or this one, because I think there's a little bit of flare on those. That one's all right. That one not so much because of the flare. So let's select those two, and then we're just going to delete those. Okay, so there we go. So these are quite clean, and we start at the bottom. So the first one selected. The next thing we need to do, this is the process, and this will remain pretty much the same throughout. You need the move tool, click on the layer, and then we reduce it, the opacity, so somewhere around 40%. It's not important. 40% is quite good because you can see it. And if you notice, we just move the trunk to the trunk is overlaid, which is why it's quite nice that these trees are very straight. Okay, once I've done that, what I can then do is go to this blending mode and then watch as I go over these. You can see there's different effects. Now, you won't really be able to tell how this works until we get further in the process, but I'm just going to select the ones I like. This is going to be a light and airy and dreamy kind of look, so I'm going to choose those ones. So again, 40% opacity on that one. Move it over using the move tool. It's already selected. The trunk's lined up, and even now you can start to see how this will look. So I don't like the darker effect necessarily. Something a bit dreamy works quite out. If you're not sure, soft light is normally a good one to go with. So again, 40%, next layer up, move it into the trunk that's lined up. There we go. You can already see that looks good. And then we've got these various different blend modes. You may have a different kind of idea to me as to what you want this to look like. I quite like that at the moment, so I've darkened it down, but I can lighten it up again by making the next layers a little bit lighter, but the underlying layer will be darker. There we go. So that looks quite good. And then we can just, for me, that's too dark. Although what I can do is I can actually lighten this up later on. But actually that's quite nice. Screen color dodge, screen's quite nice. Maybe. And then if you go further down, any of these kind of work really. Again, 40%. Now what you can also do, it also works if you go 39, 38, 37, that kind of thing works. Just reduce the opacity every time. So again, dissolve is quite nice. It gives you kind of like a pointless kind of feel. We're just going down the blend modes. Oh, that's quite nice. Soft light is generally quite good. And I often, if I can't decide, I often go to soften. So again, 40%, move it until it's lined up over the trunk. That works best. And then just select your blend mode. Soft light, look at that, beautiful. It almost looks like a spotlight now on the ground underneath, and the actual fallen leaves make this work really well. 40%, line up the trunks. Soft light. This is what I look. Yeah, soft light works best. 40%. Line up the trees, trunks. That's actually 42%, but that doesn't matter. And lighten, or subtract, lighten maybe. And there we go, I quite like that. So the next thing to do is to flatten it, and that makes all those layers stamped into one. And now what we can do is we can, if we select Nik Collection, and select Nik Collection works as a plugin, bring that on, and actually what we're going to do is we'll have a look. Just going to open it. I'm not going to worry about any of the presets that it brings you up. Let's just move this so you can see it. And with Nik Colour Efex, which I've used for a long time, we've got all these lovely presets down the side, and sometimes it's just worth having a little look and seeing what it gives you. Some of these won't work, some of these do work. I don't use the same one every single time. Sometimes things take my eye and I take it to that kind of look, but personally I'm looking for something kind of light, and you'll know it when you see it. It's one of those things. And because this is a load of layers and it's quite creative, you can really go to town on this and make it look like a painting, which is why I love this method. It's so much fun. So you can see these various presets. You can also set your own presets. Underneath, if you see there's filters there, and these are the various filters on the right hand side now of that particular look. if I want to change that. But I can go to filters, and all of these you can select individually. If I click on the plus button, it adds that filter to the right hand side, applies it, and then you can adjust it as you go along. And this is classical soft focus, because my idea with this is to make it a bit out of focus. If I turn that off and on, you can see that it's a lot better with soft focus on. And there is the final image, and I really like that. I think that's great. I might just crop this a little bit, and all I need to do now is just save this, and this will bring it back into Lightroom for me, and I can now export it. Or actually what I think I'll do is I'll get rid of that. Let's crop this, just taking out some of the edges on the right hand side there. I mean, you can leave them in, they look okay if you like them, but I think we'll just do that. And it's, for me, that trunk needs to be really central. Press return, and there is the final image. And I really like this. I think it looks very pastel-y. I love the bench, seems to work really well. And as you can see, it doesn't take an awful lot to do this. You just need a program. It hasn't got to be Photoshop, but it does need to handle layers. And of course you can add other things to this afterwards. You can add paper textures, you can add borders. Here are some of the other pictures that I took. And the idea with this really is just to let your creative juices flow. As I said earlier, what you like might be different to what I like, but as long as you like it, that's the main thing. And look at that, just beautiful blue sky. Looks absolutely cracking. You don't need a good camera for this. You can use a phone, and there are videos on my channel of one of these I've created using just a mobile phone. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've got some kind of inspiration out of that. And if you have, think about subscribing to the channel. I do photography videos every single Sunday at 6 o'clock, mostly landscapes, but I have been dabbling in all sorts of different genres of late. So come and join my community. Be lovely to see you. And until next Sunday at 6 o'clock, thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. See you soon. Ta-da.